Linton Films, the official sponsor of Freddy's Yard Studio Production, presents Iceland Vlog 2017. Welcome to Iceland, the land of fire and ice. Iceland, the land made of fire and ice. Yes, it is true. Believe it or not, in winter the road condition is erratically dangerous. The drive winds are always out of control, even if you are hulky-bulky in size like myself. You may not be able to handle the heavy, harsh force juggling you around. The sun rises for a few hours, very few. In fact, in winter, sun rises around or between 12 and 11 p.m. and sets to pitch dark condition, like an expression within the blink of an eye. So in theory, it only sets about 2:30 a.m., just 2 hours after midday. Guess what? In summer, the sun never sets. So whenever one gets opportunity, summer is the best time you can boss around in your day as and when you rise up from your warm bed to begin your planned excursions. There is a lot to see, a lot to explore. In the time frame of 5 days, we could only explore Golden Circle Drive over southern peninsula of Iceland. We managed to stop by our scheduled stopover, a road map atlas marked up as a tourist attraction. It was a location where the volcanic eruption took place. It is the smaller ice caps of Iceland in the north of Skogar. This is one of the volcanoes which has erupted relatively quite frequently since last glacial period. To us, it looked like a gigantic mountainous range seeking hash black mountains and hash black rocks, look like which were excreted out over March 2010 eruption of this exact volcanic mountain. Due to this eruption, it waved all over the media channels in Western as European, US and Canadian flight operations were severely affected to volcanic ashes flying miles and miles high in the air. The moment we parked up, I could not control my balance on my feet. Due to harsh wind swinging me around, we took some photographs and I felt like, oh yes, been there and done that. Every single place we had opportunity to visit kept us engaged emotionally. People were extremely travel friendly, the healthiest I have ever met for 5 days. We did not even had chance to see a single ambulance or police car with the passage of time. We discovered Iceland is the most peaceful country in the entire planet Earth. Did you know they do not even have their own military, although they are member of NATO force? We will never ever forget this journey ever in our life. In our lifetime, as it was completely different than expected. Seeing the ice sheets floating over the sea, it was absolutely breathtaking while enjoying an SUV drive. It is kind piece of advice for everyone and anyone to always hire an SUV rather than a two-wheel drive. Never try to be clever or brave enough to go off-road. The must-to-be visited places in Iceland are Blue Lagoon. We booked it online well before in advance. The moment we entered in the open area of the lagoon, it was sky blue geothermal water, natural pool with temperature up to 40 degrees Celsius. Air temperature was about -5 to -6 degrees. We stayed in Lagoon for about 2 hours and consumed the daylight to visit Reykjavik, which is the northernmost capital of the world and Iceland itself. It is not advisable to park on the side road like this gentleman. Apparently, he's looking for something in his car. You never know. We are on our way to Gullfoss. It is one of the most popular and easily commutable waterfall on Golden Circle Drive. It took us at least 2 hours or so to reach to Gullfoss from our hotel in Selfoss. The complete untouched wilderness. The sun is smiling. You know, the time is 1 p.m. in the afternoon. All you can see is snow all around Iceland. We went in November 2017, and believe it or not, it was freezing cold. The road was adventurous, the company was great, the views were breathtaking, they were beautiful, they were gorgeous. You cannot rule out the greatest experience we ever had in our lifetime. Traveling is our passion, but since we went to Iceland, we never had that experience ever before. The road was so slippery. The national speed limit is about 50 miles per hour, which is about 80 kilometers. That's the national speed limit in Iceland. As the roads are too risky to drive, you have to have a great grip on the wheels, on the steering wheel I mean. There were various viewpoints. You can see the snow blowing from both sides of the road. Unbelievable. We are just taking our time. You can see the blue sky. It's like the blue sheet right above us. You cannot see anyone, just tourists from all around the world. In our 5 days staying in Iceland, we didn't even see a single person from anywhere from Europe. Mostly the tourists in Iceland were from China, Korea, Thailand, Japan. We just absolutely enjoyed this drive. Just on the left, you can see the mountains fully covered under snow. We managed to see many of the horse farms and Icelandic horses grazing within the ice fields. You have to be very careful when you take over any of the car. You have to slowly approach from the left, keep following up, and keep going with immense care. It's good to be passionate, but it is always good to be very careful. Very, very careful. The moment you go off-road, it is massive, life-threatening risk. The average time of rescue team is more than 2 hours if you get stuck somewhere in Iceland. Look at the snow. It is completely frozen. Right opposite, the tractor is coming. That gentleman, I really absolutely salute his passion. Look at that, how he's getting rid of the snow from the road. Unbelievable. You can see the cars approaching towards you, and you are just approaching towards them. We tried not to go off road, we didn't, and we managed to keep within the speed limit of 50 miles an hour. The average amount we spent in Iceland for 5 days was about 2 grands, which is about 2,000 British pounds sterling. Iceland is overly expensive. You got to insure, you got to spend money, as you only live once. Look at the state of the road, how clean, clear it is. The windows were up and we couldn't even open the car windows as the wind was so harsh that on a couple of occasions we thought we'll get rid of our hats which we were wearing on our heads. On the way to Gullfoss, you may stop over at Geysers. Geysers is a very tourist-friendly place where tourists from all over the world come, stop over, take the pictures, where the geothermal water, it's so boiling hot that it keeps coming up from the earth. It's blowing off. It's so hot in the cold, and enjoying the nature was unbelievable. The water was hot, you couldn't even touch. There are signs, there are markings everywhere to be extra careful when you visit Geysir. A bottle of water was about 12 pounds in Iceland. If you want to go out for a meal, for one person it's about 30 pounds. Very expensive. But people are still happy. People are still smiling. People are still passionate. And trust me, the experience we had on Keflavik International Airport, which is the main airport of Iceland, it was very, very hospitable staff. We were stopped just for a bit before going towards the immigration counter, and we were questioned about which country we were from, where we are coming from, and what our plan is. We were told that it is just for Iceland Tourist Board, which works nationally, and they like recording the facts, the statistics of nationalities visiting Iceland, so they can update all over the world in the media and everywhere across to advertise the tourism of their entire country. For me, a person from Pakistan living in United Kingdom for over a decade, it was very, very interesting. I thought I did something wrong. That's what our mindset is. But the gentleman, he was very friendly, he was so helpful, and he just wanted to know our details, our nationality, and all he did, just recorded the facts. Where we were coming from, what our nationalities were, and where we are originally from. Such a great idea to promote the tourism of your own country. We are entering into one of the town where we stopped over for using facilities. We had a cup of coffee, and look at that, how much snow it is. you have to be very, very careful maneuvering. Here you go. We are right after that. We are in Gullfoss. It was completely frozen. And look at Alex. She is complete red like a cherry. It's completely frozen, and you can see the water streams coming through the frozen bits of Gullfoss. The sun was about to set, so we managed to make our way back towards our accommodation in Selfoss. I will always remember this trip for the rest of my life, and I will never forget it. Right across, you can see the northern Atlantic Ocean. You can see the ice sheets floating on the water, and the water is completely frozen. We managed to stop for a little while, and we saw a group of cars. The weather wasn't that friendly. Gullfoss was one of the locations which I will never ever forget. Our original plan was to drive to the glaciers, the area called Jökulsárlón, but we couldn't manage to do so because in Iceland the road conditions are so dangerous that you do not have to close them manually. When the weather gets upset, the barriers close and you cannot go further. People plan their journeys well ahead because of the unfriendly weather, and they know what consequences it can have if you don't follow it. The wind is blowing us across. We lost the lid of our camera, and one of the very friendly gentlemen at Gullfoss, he ran after it. Luckily, it didn't go any further, and we managed to grab hold of it. Gullfoss is one of the beauty in Iceland. Look at that, how people are covered. They cannot even move a single step ahead without taking immense care for themselves. The next day, we managed to drive to Wick, which is a black salty beach. On your left, you can see the mountains where the volcanic eruption took place in 2010, which I spoke about in the beginning of this video. You can see the black rocks. You can see the ash black mountains. They are scattered through. This is Golden Circle Drive. Very windy, and an SUV is highly recommended in all form or shapes of your travel. If you risk with a smaller car and you don't want to drive, then it's fine. Driving in Reykjavik would be nice on a small car, but if you want to do adventurous road trips, it is highly recommended to get an SUV, a 4x4 Jeep, so you can keep everything under your control. What a beautiful scene you can see in the screen. Thank you very much. Keep traveling the world, and your life will be beautiful as you always would like it to be. Our plan was to go right across towards Jökulsárlón, as I said earlier, but this is the exact location where we thought to say goodbye to Iceland, and very next day it was our flight back to London Heathrow. I will definitely visit with my family Iceland again and again, forever, to explore the undiscovered locations which we couldn't explore last time because of the severe weather conditions. enjoy the rest of the drive. Keep traveling. The world is not enough. The sky is not the limit. The distance is nothing. It's not about the money, it's about passion. You've got to explore and travel this planet Earth. The experiences, the love, and something which kids learn in their schools, bringing that into reality, what I did. Experiencing Arctic life was something incredible. Look at the horses. They are so friendly and they are an amazing companions. This is a private land of a farmer where we managed to stop by